Hi and welcome to another market analysis update, and today I'm just going to go through my high time Elliot wave count, look at the local time frame on BTC also and see how that's shaping up. I'll also look at some alts and we'll take it from there. So just one thing with Elliot wave, what we have to understand is that it's a guide for me. Personally it's a guide. I don't have to necessarily be really strict in terms of following every single wave pattern on the micro scale and on the 1 minute chart and all that sort of stuff. For me, I like to look at in the high time frame and then go in onto the daily and time frames like that, and then base my ideas off fib zones and volume analysis. So I'm not really one where I really count every wave structure, every microwave structure, just to make sure it counts. I think that takes up way too much time, and it can lead you into a lot of confusion. Also, for me, when I look at a chart, I have to, for me personally, I really want to be able to see the waves quite easily. I don't want to have to really work to find a wave and manufacture something. So that's another thing that I take into consideration when I'm counting Elliot waves. So for me, in this time frame, high time frame from 2017 bear market, we can see that the Elliot waves, what they have is they have impulse and corrective waves. Impulse are 5 wave moves, corrective waves are 3 wave moves, and impulse doesn't necessarily mean bullish. An impulse can be bearish, just depending on what trend you're going with. So we can see in wave 1 here, for me personally anyway, I can see 5 waves clearly up. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3 up peaks, and then 2 corrective waves. So that's for me clearly a wave 1. And then we have this 3 wave move down, okay, into a wave 2. And then the third wave, again, we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And within that, you might say, oh, hang on, there's one as well. What you can have in bullish waves is multiple 1 2 1 2 setups, which makes the wave even more bullish. So you have 1 2 1 2, then 3 4, and then a 5. Okay, so you can have multiple 1 2s, and there's all rules for that, but I'm not going to go into the rules right now. And so that was the wave 3. Then we come into the so this here top in November, for me anyway, this is a clear 3 wave move. 1 2 3. It's a corrective move. But obviously for everybody who's not maybe familiar with Elliot wave, they would be thinking, yeah, we're going to crazy all-time highs there, but it's a B wave. So you have, in a correction, you have ABC. So you have, let me just show you here quickly. Where is it with the corrective ABC? So you have, so after the top, you have A, B, C, and then you move on again. All right. So and another question I was getting is, there's so many 3s, so many 5s, which wave 4 are you talking about, which wave 3 are you talking about? Trust me, you can go on and on in Elliot wave. So within this wave 1, there's going to be microwave 1s, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5s. Do you understand? And then even if you go down a time frame, there's going to be another micro set. So for me personally, I just like to look at the macro and then one level down, just to make it a bit more straightforward. So we had the ABC down, and then now we're into this final 5th wave, which will end probably somewhere north of 100k. So anyway, so I just want to go back to this count here, because some people, if I can just hide that for a second and just hide that. So some people count this Elliot wave as well, and I've seen this going around. They count it as a 1 2 3 4 5, and then this would be the A. We're in a B wave now, and then we're going to come into some capos count, and I think a lot of these other counts, the B wave's gone too high now for a lot of people, but C would come all the way down to like 9,000, because that would be a you could say an expanded flat, where the B wave shoots above the wave 5 and it goes down to basically breaks the A wave low, or a running flat where the B wave breaks the top and the C wave comes before wave A. And we've had these examples on the lower time frames in Bitcoin already. We've had expanded flats, and we've had running flats, and all that sort of stuff. Now for me, why don't I think this this count is valid for me? Because I don't think that's a wave 5, because that's only 3 waves. I can't see 5 waves in here. That's not an impulse wave for me. That's more of a corrective wave. Some people may argue no, that's an impulse wave and they have their counts. That's I respect that. That's that's for them. But for me, this is not for a 5-wave move. And also on the Fibonacci targets, I didn't really hit any target that I seem valid, that I think that's valid. So I'm not comfortable with this count, so I really discarded that count personally, for me. And when I say we've had expanded flats and running flats already, this corrective move here is an expanded flat, because the B wave breaks above the top, and then the C wave here breaks below the A wave. So that's already an expanded flat that's happened. So I understand the theory behind what people are saying in terms of this could be a running flat or an expanded flat, but I just see a problem in the 5th wave here. I don't see that as a a valid 5 wave. So my count remains like this, and this will be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2024 is 2024 is when it'll end. This won't go into 2025. It's highly unlikely it's going to go into 2025. 2024 will end, and June is a date I had, and also before November. So now I'm starting to think that June might probably be the end of the 3rd wave, which I'll go into now, and then it could come in before November. You could get the 5th wave, and then we'll get a 2-year bear market, just like I think is going to happen. So the left-handed cycle, translate cycle, is still something that's still my primary thesis for this bull market. So anyway, let's take that off, right? So now my count, so so my guide is going to be up here somewhere, right? So this is the 5th wave. Now if I look into if we just look into this wave now, the 5th wave, right? Let's just look at the 5th wave, and I want to count how many waves, what's happened so far, right? Before I put my analysis on anyway, let's just count it from the low. So we have the 1. Okay, for me we have the 1. You might think, why isn't the 1 there? Why am I putting it here? Because I've analyzed it already in depth, but I'll just do it quickly here. That's the 2. Okay, now we're working on this. Can't be the 3, all right, because the 3 is not generally a short wave, and here anyway you can't really count 5 waves in here. So you can't, from here, what are you going to count? 1, that's not even a 2. So that's in the 3rd wave, that's a 1, a 2, a 3 so far, right? I can't right now, unless anybody else can, I can't actually count 5 waves in this 3, 4 and 5. Let's just put that there. All right, so I've got the 1, I've got the 2, I've got the 3, but the 3 for me is not complete. All right, the 3, because I've got within the 3 I've got 1, 2, 3, and that's it. I don't have 4 and 5, which I need to make this 3 complete. So let's go into actually the analysis that I've done on this. What I've looked into this, and I've looked into it quite a lot, right? So if we look at the wave 1, so you've got within the 1 you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, then you've got a B wave again that comes above the 5, and the C wave here, okay, which does not break the A. So this is more of a running flat, okay. And then we go up into the 3rd wave, okay. And the 3rd wave, like I've said, we got 1, 2, and this is where I think we are 3. We haven't had the wave 4 yet. Oh, we're in the wave 4, and then we get the 5, okay, around 90,000, around that price. So this is where I think we are at the moment, because I can't count 5 waves, and that's something that you really need to do. And another thing I look at to see, okay, am I on the right track here? Let's see. So I with Fibonacci targets, you always have to look at where can they get to. All right. So for a wave 3, if we look at a wave 3, the wave 3 should hit around the 1.618 level. Okay. Roughly the 1.618. And obviously I know this doesn't line up, but on Bybit it does. Okay, so we have hit the 1.618, which is fine. So on that, it's a tick. The 3 could be finished. Okay, so that's something we have to understand as well, because the wave 3 will finish at the 1.618. So we can say the wave 3 is finished. But for me in here, within the actual count of 3, I can't count 5 waves, easily. Maybe if you go into it and you do all that sort of stuff, you can find it. But for me, I like to keep things simple. I can't find 5 waves here. I can find 3. 1, 2, 3. So now I believe we're working on the 4th, and we'll get the final 5th up to about 90,000, 95,000. And we'll look at targets in a second. Let me go just to the Bybit chart, because I like the Bybit chart actually has the wick here, so I can show you probably a bit more clearly. So we got the 1, 2, and we got the 3 here. So so we're right here at the 1.618 fib zone for the wave 3. Now let's go into it a little bit into more detail, and I'll show you what I mean when I say this. Right. So let's take off that fib and let's just look at some local analysis. All right. So within the major third, we've had the 1, we've got the 2, in my opinion the 3 coming up here, and the 4. Now the 4th wave comes down to the 0.236 to the 0.382 extension. All right, so the 4th wave generally will retrace into this zone, which it has. Okay, it's retraced, and we're getting a nice bounce here. Now, for me, I can't say at the moment, it's done, we're going to 100k now, because there's certain rules we have to look at, right? And one of them for me is we have to break above the 618 at least. We have to at least, because what can happen if it can go up to the 618 and we can just roll back down, and have a further correction. So we have to break the 618, and also we want to see 5 waves up. So you don't need to rush into anything at the moment, because what you want to really see here, you want to see 5 waves up, something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 going up, and then you want to do a 3-wave pullback, and then that's where you buy on the 3-wave pullback for the big 3rd wave. So at the moment, you don't want to rush in, you don't need to rush in. You let this play out, you see where it goes, you see if it makes 5 waves. At the moment, if I just look at this on the 4-hour chart, when I'm looking at when I'm dissecting a wave, like I'm trying to look locally, I try to look at the 1, 2 to 4-hour chart, and right now I can just see just one, just something, it's just nothing. There's nothing there to say this is a 5-wave move complete. So we're getting the makings of it, but we have to still be very, very careful. And what I also look at, and this is something that's helped me a lot to nail the bottom targets, is the anchored VWAP, and I'll show you what that means. So this is just the volume price, average price, and I've put it in from the top, so the downtrend range. So at the moment, you can see in the other one we've been rejected from this anchored VWAP. Now breaking that for me is a sign of strength, that now we're above the downtrend range, and this could be the makings of a new impulse wave up, and we could be on our way to $90,000, $80, $90, $100,000. And why did I put this? This is something that a lot of people don't use and they don't see. But what I did, I looked at wave 2, the bottom of wave 2, okay, because that's the major pivot point, and I put another anchored VWAP here, and it was coming and it was being respected nicely, and it lined up so perfectly with the 382 wave 4 coming down, and the anchored VWAP was a good target, regardless of whether this becomes an impulse or not. This was a great target to go long. and for me at the moment, I'm in a neutral position. If we start breaking the resistance VWAP at around 68,000, that's something that's really going to I think it's going to do really give more confidence, I could say, into the market. Another thing I definitely look at as well is the volume profile. Okay, so the volume profile, I take it from a major swing high or swing low. Okay, for example, in this instance, I think I took it from the top here, okay, of the range. And so when I look at this, when I look at the so I'll take off just the fib retracement and the VWAPs. Now what does this tell me here? This tells me in this downtrend range here, in this range here that we've had the value area high coming in at around $70,000 or $70,400. We have the value area low coming in around 65,000, and again, so this was confluence with the VWAP, the value area low, and the wave 4 retracement. So it's not just Elliot wave I'm relying on a lot of volume work as well, with Fibonacci to give me targets. So there were about 3 confluences here. So if I put that other, so we had the anchored VWAP from the wave 2 low, we had the volume profile, the value area low, which is a support. Obviously you want to hold that, and also we had the Fibonacci 382. So all of these came into a nice bounce, in an area. So now we're above the point of control, and the point of control is where most volume was traded in this range, and we're holding above it. And most likely, what we should see is a move up to at least the value area high again at 70,437. And what you notice was coming in here is, from high to low, we have the golden zone, Fibonacci resistance. So that's going to be a very heavy resistance. So from there we can get rejected, and what we want to see is maybe that's the wave 1 comes up, the wave 2, and then 3, you get 3, 4, 5 of the wave 1 in this final 5th wave in the major in the third. So we have to be really careful of this resistance here, because this is going to be a heavy resistance. The first sign of strength will be flipping this area here, 60,000, well, 68,900, as in 900, around 900, and then would be going onto that level. So this is where I look at the analysis in detail when I go into the actual chart and look. So I have Elliot wave as a guide, but then I really look at the volume to see if we can, if we can break this. So I wouldn't. From this analysis, I wouldn't be rushing in to buy anything. If you think, oh damn, I've missed the move, I've missed so much, it doesn't really matter at this stage, because you want to buy the wave 2 pullback anyway. You don't want to buy unless you really know what you're doing. You don't really want to buy at the at these bottoms here, because to be honest, it is analysis, it is a forecast. It could easily break lower. So this is just something where if you're experienced enough, you can pull the trigger here, or you can wait for the 5 wave move up, coming back into a support area, and then going on from there. But that's my analysis at the moment. What I want to see right now is a 5 wave move. I want to see a 5 wave move up, and if this is the start of the 5th in the 3rd, then I think we can we can put our big fibs on, okay, and we can look at targets such as 84,000, but 84,000 and so forth. But let's see what kind of target we can get in this final wave. So if I just take that and the wave 4 pullback, and we get a target of about $96,000. all right, so now $96,000 is the minimum, right? The 618, which should be the 5th wave target. Now I want to see, have I got any confluence for these levels? So I look at my big fib, my the from high to low, and I can see not really. There's 84,000 is a resistance area. Then maybe we got 100,000. So maybe the 618 we wick up to 100,000, and then we have a 20-30% correction, because that's what's going to happen after this tops out. If I look at have I got any other fibs on here? I don't think so. Let's just put the major fib on here. What you find here, and if you look very carefully, there's a great confluence with the 618 and the 1.886. So firstly we got that, you know, that $79,000-$80,000 area, but the wave 3, the wave 3 should end the target that I have here. So there is a confluence here at around 96. We have 2 fib targets, so that could be a good confluence for the end of wave 5 in the 3. So look out for that target, and there's other ways to find wave 5 targets, and you know, when that's confirmed that it's definitely a wave 5, then we can look at, you know, really nail down the targets. Because what I think should happen, or what I'm going to do, I don't know, you know, what you guys can do, you know, how you can play it how you want, but you know, if for instance, let's just take off that fib, let's say the top does come here, yeah, the wave 5 top, what's going to happen next? That's what people ask, what's going to happen next? So next, what's going to happen is the whole wave 3 needs to be corrected. So far we're correcting this wave here, so we get that pullback down here, right? This wave 1 needs to be corrected, it was corrected here. This wave, current wave 3 is being corrected, it's going to be corrected here. What's going to happen is this whole wave will need to be corrected now, and if it does get into that range, let's just forecast this. This is just forecast, right? So don't take this as you know, gospel, or don't take this as, you know, what's exactly going to happen. But what we'll look at is a wave 4 correction. So if it does get to this 96,000 area, where's the 382 coming? It's coming back to where we are, 70,000. And what kind of correction is that? What kind of correction? What kind of correction could we get? Possibly, you know, the minimum we can get is a 15%, 16% correction. The maximum we can get is around a 20-30% correction. And if we're getting a 20 to 30% correction from, you know, this wave 4, the major wave 4 now, before we go into the, you know, the 5 and the final top, don't think your alts will hold up. You know, if they do a 2, it's about perspective, and I wrote a comment on Twitter to one of the followers, is that, yeah, from now, if your alts do a 3x, 4x, 5x, 10x, you know, that's, you know, 1,000%, 2,000%, 500%, you know, whatever. Coming down 50%, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. You can hold on, and, you know, hold on for the wave 5. But taking partial profits is never a bad thing anyway. You know, on these moves up. So you got to think about, if we are in the wave 5 and we hit the 618, which is around 96,000, or, you know, 85,000, or 100,000 even, you have to remember that there is going to be a correction of this entire wave, and that will come. You know, the minimum is a 0.236 correction up to the 0.382, just like what we're currently doing now, in terms of this mini wave 4 correction, I can say. So, you know, if I go back to the local analysis, you can see the mini correction that's happening right now is from the top, you know, all the way down, which is probably about 10% correction. But imagine that on a much larger scale. So, you know, if you bought now, or you bought a few weeks ago, you bought, you know, it shouldn't really matter too much, hopefully, because, you know, you can endure a 30%, 40% correction. But what likely is going to happen is, as we're ending this wave 5, okay, in the 3, people are going to start buying near the top, and then they're going to be about 40% down or 30% down, and that's the issue that people are going to have. So, you know, taking profits. Me personally, I'll take some profits, and then I'll look to re-enter after the wave 4 has completed, and then we go to our final wave 5. So that was the Bitcoin analysis. I hope that made some sense to you guys. Obviously, come with your questions, and, you know, if there's something I've missed or something that you think, you know, could be improved on, yeah, you know, hit me up on Twitter, and we'll, you know, gladly have a discussion and see, you know, how we can you know, make the money this bull run. That's the main thing. Yeah, so let's look at Veracity, and when I look at this coin again, so if we look at it from this section, you know, this is, you know, had the wave 5 here, again the 1, 2, 3 B correction, you know, overshooting B wave. It's not a new high here. This is 3 waves for me, clear 3 waves here, 1 2 3. Then you have the 5 waves down, 1 2 3 4 5, and then you had the first trend change back in 2022. So you had the 1 2, and how I measure this, is it a valid wave 2? You look at it, you look at the high to the low, it should come into the 618 786, and yeah, you can say it came into those zones, and then it's continuing now. Veracity, what I see at the moment, we're in the wave 3, right? We're in the wave 3, so we've got the 1 2, but then I'm seeing another 1 2 set up here. So this actually 1 2 1 2, then 3 4 5. So let's see where we can go before counting it. So I want to see where could this potentially go. 161. So the targets here for wave 3, the 1.236 are around 50 cents, and then the 1.618 is in the extension. I'll really like in wave 3, I always favor the 1.618 as a base, and then take it from there. So these are 2 areas. Now for me to get confluence with these areas, what I'll put on my global fib, and again you'll see you have resistance coming in here, and this is the all-time high resistance anyway, so you're definitely gonna get a pullback in one of these 2 spots regardless. So for Veracity right now, I'm seeing a 1 2 1 2, and then I think the next wave will be very very strong. It'll be the third, the 3 of the 3. So if I count this, and I think the 3 will be either here or here depending. Okay, so then you'll have the 3, then you'll have the 4, and then 5, and that will be the end of the wave 3, and then you'll have a bigger wave 4 pullback, maybe a 30-40% pullback, and then you'll have the final high. So Veracity, yeah, I would aim for the 1236 or the 1618 in this area. So if you're getting in now, and if we look at this pullback, let's just look at this pullback quickly. From here to here is coming to the 618, which is a good sign. Can we look at, so we've got the 2 there, so let's look at let's put anchored VWAP on as well, see if we've got any confluence in this zone. So that was the wave 2, I'll put it here. Yep, so as you can see, we haven't come down for this support. This is something, if it comes further down, because the wave 2 can come into the 786. So to be honest, anywhere in this region there's support here, and on a wave structure looks like a 1 2 1 2, looking for at least around 50 cents, I would say, for Veracity. But bear in mind, when I'm doing all these altcoins analysis, it's all dependent upon Bitcoin. If Bitcoin doesn't do what it's supposed to do in terms of the analysis, if it's another count or something I got wrong, then obviously you have to take into account that the altcoins they're not going to go by themselves. So yeah, so just bear that in mind. And if the third, this should be the strongest wave of the move. So we should get into the I'm thinking the 1.6 was that 1.618 would be a decent profit taking zone, because after you do get the final third wave complete, let's just say it gets to all-time high, you're going to get at least a 20% 30% correction. But obviously if you've entered here, okay, let's just and this is what point I was trying to make. If you've entered at the right place, let's say you entered anywhere around here, and you've made a 8x, was 40%, it's a lot, don't get me wrong, but if you're not comfortable with trading, or you don't know what you're new to this, maybe you just want to DC it out as you're making, if you made 8x, that's quite a lot, to be honest. The next one I'm going to look at is Tau. Where's Tau? And again, Tau, quite coins like this, there's not much to go on because it's very new. And this coin we gave, remember in the markets unplugged.com, we gave this coin at $50. So we put a review out and said this is a gem to buy at $50. So subscribe to that. The markets unplugged.com is things on there that it will help all kinds of people, whether you're new or you're a veteran. But anyway, so let's look at this, and this looks like to me we are right now into the third wave, okay, of the third, and that's why it's already so strong. So if I look at a potential, so first of all, like I said, I always look at potential targets for where this could go, right? So that's the first wave, that's the second. Look at the resistance, 618, bang on there, okay. 1 to 1, 1618, that's what I normally look at, is 6,400. Will it get there? You never know with Tau. Tau's a really, really strong coin. So, this is, all I can say is we're in the third of the third. If I count this how I think it is, so I think it's a 1, 2, now we're in the third. And obviously the target, the 1, 2, 3, 6, between the 1, 6, 8, so so it'll be somewhere around there, and then we'll get a 4 and a 5, so we'll get probably a pullback 4 and a 5. Okay, so that's my first sort of target for Tau. This looks like, again, this looks like a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This doesn't, I don't even think this looks like a, if I go into the shorter time frames, let's go into the daily. Okay, if I look at a wave 4, wave 4. So we've come into the 382. Let's put an anchored VWAP on the 2. We're coming into, so support $500 if it gets there. Let's look at the range. If this is the wave 4, right? So you've come into the wave 4 area for reversal. Again, we've got the VWAP support coming in here at $500. So any tap on that, I think, will cause a good reaction. We're into the value area low of this downward range. So what I would expect, at least the minimum, is to hit the top of this range here around 700. So what we want to see now, we want to see a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then on the pullback of the 3-wave pullback, you probably can get back into Tau. That would be a trend reversal. And once we're over the value area high, which is $757, then you're on your way to that new basically all-time high for Tau. And your first, now looking at it again, your first target could be the 1-to-1 extension around 1700 to the 1236. Okay, and then that will be the wave 5. So let's just count it, 3, 4, and then you're gonna get the 5 here. So you'll get so we've had the 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you're gonna get a bigger pullback. You're gonna get a bigger pullback for Tau. So just remember that here. So we've had, that's the 1, that's the 2, the 3. You could even extend up. It depends how far the wave 5 goes, but at the moment that would be a count for me for Tau. So let's look at TRAC quickly as well. So if you look at TRAC from here, you can see you've got the 1, 2, and you're working obviously in the third. So if I want a quick target of what I think, where can this third go? So this is always something I do at the start. So I look at wave, and you can see quite clearly on support 618 there, but the target, again, the 1618 if there's an extension, or we look at the 121 or the 1236. Okay, so we got these levels above that. and $2 is was always a target for TRAC, the 121 extension, and the 1236. So we're in what I would call the wave 3, and this is going to end sometime, obviously in the next month or so. So how would I look at this? First, I will look at the retracement zone for TRAC. So we look at it here, and we want to see where the wave 4 comes in. And the wave 4, let's go to wave 4, bang, right on target. All right, so we have the wave 4, so we're into the wave 4 now. All right, so now when are we confident that this is actually a trend reversal? When am I confident? So the first thing I want to do is do another fib retracement. Where are the danger zones? And that's something that we have to look at. Where are the danger zones for TRAC? If this goes down further, if our plan goes wrong, what we're going to look at. So the zone here between $1.30 and $1.36, we need to get above that. We need to really get above this to confirm that there's strength in this uptrend, and it's not just a fake trend, right? We also will look at the anchored VWAPs. Okay, so the support comes in, we didn't hit the support, but it comes in around $1. Okay, so this is from the wave 2, so any tap on this should give a good reaction. And on the other side, see, look, this is actually, I didn't realize this is actually even happening, but from the top, look where we're hitting resistance. So this is the first sign of strength. If you break this area, which is where we are now, $1.27 or $1.30, if you break this area, that would be your first flip of the downwards resistance, and that would be a first sign of strength. And then obviously breaking that would be another sign of strength. If I put the anchored VWAP on, so I'm going to take off the anchored volume profile, you can see again this is the downtrend volume profile. So I like to look at this to see if our correction is over, hitting obviously the value area low. Okay, hitting that, getting into that support. Now we're holding support at the point of control, which is very important. So this is if we are on top of the point of control, it's bullish. If we're below it, it's going to be bearish. Okay, so we're on top of the point of control, which can take us hopefully to $1.34, and I bet if I put on that fib retracement, which this one, it's going to come right. So this is going to be a heavy area of resistance. We break past all of this resistance, and then we're going to get probably to that $2 or further on, at least to the wave 5 $2, and we've got $2.70, and we could look at the wave 5 targets once we're confirmed. So again, we're not out of the woods for TRAC yet, but we want to break these key areas, and then we can look for higher price targets. So that's my analysis on TRAC at the moment. It looks like we just completed the wave 4 correction, and now we're looking into making the wave 5. And how, for people asking how would I even enter on this, so for me personally, I would see, so I don't see any kind of 5 waves here. I see nothing, right? But let's just say this is wave 1, we come in, wave 2, 3, 4, 5, we make 5 waves, clear 5 waves up, then we make the 3 waves down. The 3 waves down is when you want to enter. So what you could do, what I could do, or what you could think of, is after it makes its 3 waves up, okay, once you come into the ABC, if you're on support, if you look at the fibs, you look at volume profile, you look at potentially the VWAPs, and if you have some confluence, it's you've come into the support zone of the fib, and then it's the wave 2, then you can obviously enter. And the more you learn about this sort of stuff, I think it's hard, it might be hard for some people to grasp, but the more you learn, the more you study technical analysis, the more it gives you probabilities in your favor. So that's something to think of. Just the last thing I want to look at is the total 3, because I love to see where total 3 is generally. And again, total 3, just looking at the, coming into the wave 4 area, currently breaking the downward VWAP. This is going to be resistance here, but let's just see where that fan is, because the fan is very important. So we're right on that fan, and total 3 we could get, you know, the 1236. I think that's the next. I think that's the next big resistance. If we look at the, yeah, we're looking at around 835 billion. But once total 3 breaks this downward sloping resistance, which I think it will, you know, soon. You know, alts, and it's coinciding. The way this is coinciding is with alts having a major run in the, you know, in the wave 3s, and that's what it's looking like to me at the moment. But obviously we have to keep an eye on Bitcoin, make sure Bitcoin is not gonna, you know, mess up our plans. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this update, and again, I will see you in the next one.